Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to another podcast episode from Creative Side Podcast. I'm joined today with Casey, Shane, and we got our guest, Eric Myers. How are you doing, Eric?
Better than amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Great. Definitely glad that you're here today. And so let's talk about who Eric Myers is.
Yeah, it's a short story.
Yeah, so you have business here locally in Madisonville.
Yeah, I'm the owner and head instructor, chief instructor of Warrior Academy, which primarily is Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing for adults and kids. And we now have Warrior Dance, which is our hip-hop division of our business, which is ran by Danielle Gamble. She's amazing instructor of hip-hop dance. Amazing. And then we also offer Warrior Kids, which is our after-school and summer camp program, which is an alternate to daycare, which is for more school-age children to come and participate in martial arts fitness. Keeps them busy in the after-school hours up until mom and dad can get off work. So that's kind of the three primary things that we focus on in our academy.
Gotcha. And you're not anyone that is new to the martial arts. From what I understand, you've been in it for over 40 years?
I've been in it a little while, yeah.
Okay.
I started at age 4. With my father he was involved in Taekwondo back in the 70s, early 70s, and he got me to go up there with him and train, and I got interested in it, and I got the itch, and it never quit. And so I've been doing martial arts actively since 1974.
Wow, that's awesome. And you and I are about the same age. We grew up around the same time. Yeah. And martial arts, when we were kids, I can remember it was a big influence. There was a lot of movies. There was a lot of
I thought it was
trending.
A bad influence too, but yeah, it was an influence. Yeah, the ninja era almost got me arrested a lot of times. Of me pretending and thinking that I was Shokasugi from the Revenge of the Ninja.
Yeah.
You know, running around the neighborhood in an all black outfit, you know, and my dad's like, "You're going to get shot." And no. And it's a wonder I didn't.
Yeah.
It was some crazy times, but yes, martial arts has been heavily impacted in the world. You know, it's heavily Bruce Lee, of course, Chuck Norris, those gentlemen that started pretty much the American martial arts revolution. Yeah. And then, of course, the biggest impact was Karate Kid.
Yeah.
It changed everybody's mind about martial arts. It filled up dojos across the nation as soon as that movie aired.
Wow.
It was wild. I remember the days.
So tell us, because some people might, when they hear martial arts, they think they're just kicking and punching and throwing people around. Can you, for someone that has extensive history and experience in the martial arts, can you explain that perspective?
Yeah, on a surface level, they're accurate. That's a very accurate depiction of what we do. But real martial arts is about self-defense. So self-defense means being able to protect yourself against bigger, stronger, tougher, meaner, people. And so if it's all about you becoming meaner, tougher, stronger, well, that's counterintuitive. So you don't want to misconstrue the concept of it's all about fighting. It's actually learning how to end violence to the point. Well, there's a Shaolin statement. It's an oath from the Shaolin temple. It's check rather than hurt rather than maim rather than kill rather than be killed. For all life is precious and none can be replaced.
Wow.
So that's kind of an oath that martial arts should live by. Not all of them do, but they should live by that. And so on the ground level, you see punches and kicks, and lots of parents will think, "Oh, I'm going to get my kid in there. They're going to learn how to fight." They're afraid they're going to enroll them because they're going to teach them to be mean. They're going to teach them to be aggressive. And realistically, some academies can do that and do that. But what I try to focus with our instructors and our instructor team is our goal is to transform a life. Okay. And when a kid feels like he's a victim in the world, which I don't know if anybody's ever felt like that. I mean,
maybe.
Yeah. We get victimized by the world, right?
Absolutely.
And so when you feel belittled by the world, you don't think you're much of nothing. You don't think that you are anything in this world. And then what martial arts can do is physically show that child or that person that they can do things that they didn't know they could do. They can learn things they didn't know they could learn. Mm-hmm. And when they realize that I can take down a guy at least 100 pounds heavier than me. And I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to happen every time exactly the same, but I physically know how to do it. Therefore, I'm not a victim. Mm-hmm. I don't have to have that victim mindset. Right. And so when you teach that kid that, what you're hoping for is they don't allow bullying to continue in their life, whether that's from their parents, sadly enough, or the school system, or other kids in the school, or just generally the population, that they're not being bullied by the world. They're not a victim anymore. That doesn't mean they're not going to have problems, right? Right. But it means they learn how to face those problems. And one of the things about, like, say, for instance, one of my favorite martial arts is Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is it'll teach you to actively problem solve in a real time. Wow. Nothing like trying to figure out what to do next when a guy's got his hands around your neck trying to choke you. Yeah. You know, you're like, A, B, or C. You don't got time to think that. You just got to do the next move. Mm-hmm. And like I said to you earlier, done's better than perfect. Jiu-Jitsu teaches me that in real time. I have to do something right now or I'm going to tap. You know, and just the playtime that we play, you know, when we're grappling and sparring and things like that, we're not genuinely trying to hurt one another. We're trying to checkmate one another, make him say uncle. Gotcha. You know, and when that happens, you're like, it's self-reflection for a minute. You're like, what just happened? How did that happen? What did I do wrong? And you get to replay the reel, and then you go back and go, let's try this again. And then hopefully you get a better answer the next time. Yeah. And each time you get a little bit more. You suck less and less. That's the better word for it, especially with jiu-jitsu. But the goal is to teach kids to overcome their own self-fears and build real confidence. What's confidence? What is it? I ask those questions of parents a lot, and they very seldom actually have a actual answer. Mm-hmm. They say, what is it? Confidence is understanding what didn't work before, and now you've learned a lesson from it, and therefore now you've moved forward, and you know what doesn't work. Now you can try something that might work. So you continue to try harder past the failures. Fail forward.
That's a great definition of that.
Yeah.
Wow. And one of the things that I've noticed as well is on your personal Facebook page is that you've been putting out some little snippet videos of, you know, it just really feels like motivational, but it's more than just motivational. You're actually giving practical suggestions.
That's my intentions, because I want people to get past the fact that it's just fighting. Yeah. That you brought that up, and I think, you know, you've done your research well on me. I want to be more than a school that focuses on the technical. We're extremely technical on the mat. But I want to get past the extreme technicalities and focus on real world application that has nothing to do with a physical altercation.
Absolutely.
Get past that. How can you apply jiu-jitsu or kickboxing or, you know, Krav Maga or any of those self-defense techniques that can apply to your day-to-day, you know? On a physical level, a very simple understanding of that is how to get up off the floor. Yeah. You know, jiu-jitsu teaches you how to stand up correctly, like on a physical level. And like in a combat situation, I want to use that technique to get up where he can't knock me back down. But in reality, I noticed when I was really getting started in jiu-jitsu, I was watching my grandmother. She's now passed, and she was playing with my daughter. Give me a second on that one. When she stood up like I was taught. Because she can't get up another way. She couldn't get up. Her bones and her joints wouldn't work to just stand up. So she had to get up the way jiu-jitsu teaches us. And I was like, how did you know that? And then I watched a toddler do it. And I'm like, toddler gets up that way. We unlearn the right ways to do things. Wow. And then we relearn them later. And that was a practical application.
Wow.
So for those who aren't familiar, so what is the correct way to get up?
I'd have to show you.
Can we do that?
Can we do that? As wide shot?
I'd have to physically show you how to do it.
I think we can. Let me get a shot set up for it.
Sorry.
And
There's no problem.
go ahead and talk amongst yourself again on something, and then we'll get a wide shot here in a second
That's fair.
where we can see it.
Okay.
Cool.
So just going back a little bit. So when you were learning martial arts, which form of, I don't want to say fighting, but which form was the most difficult for you to learn? And was there a particular move that was more difficult for you
That's
to
an
learn?
amazingly great question because styles of the martial arts are what everybody argues about, and it's the never ending what works better in a real fight, and it's a dumb argument because it's the one you train the most. Mm-hmm. It's the one that works for you. Mm-hmm. My personal preference over the years, I've trained in 15 different styles of martial arts over the last 5 decades. And I black belted in 15 different styles. And so it's not saying that to brag. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of them I just don't do anymore. And what I did is I decided on Gracie Jiu-Jitsu as my core self-defense, core movements, because it's a never ending. My definition of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is as a puzzle wrapped in a riddle, trapped in an enigma.
Wow.
Because you never stop learning it. You say, well, you've learned, when you learned martial arts, I'm like, I'm still learning. I'm 55 and I have a 2nd degree black belt in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, and I never stop learning it. Mm. And other martial arts as well, but Jiu-Jitsu specifically is so vast. You never can stop learning it. Little tiny adjustments that dial in with like the little precision screwdrivers, little tiny adjustments pay dividends over time. So that's my favorite martial arts. And as far as one move, there's lots of moves that I learned that I just will never do again because they're completely impractical. Like some of the acrobatic kicks and stuff that I learned in, like wushu and traditional karate. They're impractical. They're just irrelevant, especially as you get older. The landings hurt. Leaping and jumping. You're like, why am I doing this? So I was like, then I start looking at jiu-jitsu and going, I don't have to jump. I can bring him down to my level. So I start learning that. So difficulty a lot of times is really understanding the simplicity. Because I can make things chain reaction, and my instructors can make things chain reaction. It's like a Mortal Kombat, combo in the video game. It's like 20 hit combo, perfect. And you're like, that's not how reality goes. I want it to be one move, and it's that 2-3 steps. Because the older I get, the less my clarity is up here. Lots of concussions over the years, and I don't want to have to think too deep. I want to go A, B, C, done. I don't want to go, what was the 13th move of this move? Like, how did I get? No. And that's just too complicated. And I teach the same way. I don't want I don't want it to be overcomplicated. Overcomplication just makes things complicated.
Yeah.
It's a better word for it. That make sense?
Absolutely. It does.
Good sense. Hey, Casey, I think we got a shot set up if he wants to show us.
Or do you want to do it at the end?
It doesn't matter. It's up to you guys.
It's fine. I've got a shot set up. I think we'll cover it.
All right.
If you just want to go right out in the middle of the floor there.
Right in the center?
Yeah, just right here.
And any person of any age can do this getting up? Okay.
It's pretty simple. So when you're setting, most people
Or do you want him face the camera?
Do we need to get him mic'd?
It's okay. We can still hear him.
Okay.
Just spin around. Spin around. The camera is right there.
Yep.
That one on the wall?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right there on the wall.
Okay. So sitting, most people try to get up by using their legs only.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but we tend to do that. And I can't do it anymore because my body tells me you're doing something stupid. It doesn't work. So what I tend to do is I put my hand on the ground. Most people sit like this right here anyway, on the floor. This is a very natural setting of sitting. And so if there's an opponent in front of me, I'm using this as a shield to protect myself so that if he comes in too close, I can drop back. There's lots of options that I have to get out of range. But as far as getting up, one of the things that my grandmother did is I noticed she would go here and she would turn, put her knee on the ground, and then she would step up. And that way she had 4 points of contact on the floor. And then I noticed my daughter did the same thing. And so from one end of the spectrum or the other, the child and the elderly did the same thing. And in jiu-jitsu, we end up getting up that way, where it's very similar. Okay, and so it's called standing and base. When I go from here to learn how to do it, I go to my knee first. After I learn how to do it, I go for my foot goes right beside my hand, so my butt comes up, and I stand straight up in balance. So that you never are off base. And so the nature of this is pretty cool. Because as soon as I get to here and I get this position, you see the angle that I'm leaning, locked in, it's more of a triangle. So if my opponent rushes into me, he's not pushing me back very easily.
Gotcha.
Because I'm anchored to the floor. And so what happens if he closes the distance, a lot of times I can get to a leg or I can something like that and get him back to the ground instead of me. Or at least if they are on the ground, I'm on top. That's the goal. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I've actually been getting up like that, but I ain't going to do it on camera.
I was like, you should try. I'm
Awesome.
that guy that'll get you out of your comfort zone.
Well, thank you for that demonstration.
No, it's fine. It's just an ultra simple thing that actually is practical.
And you're using your core.
Yeah, well, you're using your frame. I wouldn't say you're using it. You don't muscle required because my 80, or she was at the time 80-year-old grandmother, could easily do it. She was not using any muscle because she didn't have any.
Gotcha.
The toddler has no leg strength. They don't have that core balance, so they got up that way. How did they get up? If it was all core, it's not. It's all, it's frame.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Cool.
So I got a question. Sure. During your younger years, when you realized that this was a passion that was going to be with you for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
there came a point to where it's like, man, I really want to show this to other people. Do you know?
That's
Can you
interesting.
pinpoint that moment in your life where it's like, man, I've got something that I really, really want to show people. These people need to know and learn.
I'll
about
be
this.
transparent about that. That's pretty cool. Initially, it was out of self-glorification. When I first wanted to teach, it was because I wanted to be the guy. I wanted to be the man. You know, I want to be the owner. I want to be the teacher. You know, I want to be that guy. And I did. And I ran a school like, you know, whether you liked it or not, I was in charge for in my early years of opening a school. And that's what I did. And I had a few people tell me, you should open a school, you should open a school. And so I did. And it was for my own personal gain,
Okay.
not for my clients.
Gotcha.
And over the years, that has drastically changed. The aha moment was when I realized originally my school's name was Myers Martial Arts, my last name. And that happened up until actually during COVID. So it's only been about 6 years that we've been Warrior Academy.
Okay.
And I made the transformation during that time. I had a friend of mine, I was on a conference call with him, and he said, what do you call each of the divisions of your classes? And I was like, well, we have little warriors, we have junior warriors, we have super warriors, and we have warriors. And he goes, why is the school not named Warrior Academy? And I went, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And I had an aha moment. It was before COVID. So that concept was dug at me a little bit. I was like, why am I calling it Myers Martial Arts? That's fairly arrogant of me because it makes it about me. My name's on the door. So it has to be someone, me or my family running this in my headset. You know, like my thinking process was, it has to be about our family. And I went, I don't want that. I want it to be about the clients, not about me anymore. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to change the name. And I started calling it Warrior Academy, rebranded, relogoed, everything. And I just took me out of the equation. And so it made me focus on the development of my students, not just me, showing my students. And I figured I've been doing this long enough now. If you're coming there, you figured out that our academy, we have something to offer. And so I don't want it to be a cult. And a lot of times martial arts ends up a lot like a church. They end up very cult-like. And the following is blind allegiance to someone that really doesn't have a lot to offer except teaching you how to fight.
Gotcha.
If they don't have any deep substance and they don't have any real life want for you to succeed outside of their academy. And it's all about, it's wild, man. It's very cult like.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want that. So when I did that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to remove myself from that thought process and just focus on being the best version of myself for my clients, not for me.
Yeah.
Not for self-glorification.
Right. Let's talk a little bit more about Warrior Kids, like your after school program.
That's a passionate subject.
Yeah. So what I've kind of gleaned is that y'all are really focused, like you said, on your clients.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that you ensure that your staff is staying focused
Absolutely.
with the clients.
Absolutely.
Would you kind of like to go and explain what a typical afternoon would look like?
Well, we do transportation. So like if you need transportation from the school, we've orchestrated that with the school systems here locally for us to be able to pick up your child from school.
Okay.
So we have a shuttle service that we have, 4 or 5 vans that we drive around the whole city, and in the county region, we pick up kids from school for you and we transport them back to our campus.
Mm-hmm.
And once they arrive, they get about 10, 15, 20 minutes once they arrive to get snack time and kind of get settled in. You get the wiggles out.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. They get their wiggles out, and then one of the coaches takes them onto the floor. We divide them into age groups. So they have a little time. Some of them will have a little time to maybe, if they have any kind of like quick homework or something, they can knock it out. And while the other group of kids is on the floor doing a martial arts class.
Okay.
And so one of our instructors will bring them onto the floor. They go through a martial arts class right out of the gate. And then we switch roles. They'll go back. The other group will go back and do their little time in what we call kid cave. It's man cave for kids.
Gotcha.
And so they go in, they have a little downtime while the other kids doing their program. And then before our evening classes kick off, they have a little bit of fitness time and game time, like, dodgeball. So they do things that are very active driven that require them to make, it helps not only with their physical fitness, but their mental awareness, situational awareness, games and activities that we all played growing up that are seemingly non-existent now in other, in other realms.
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of what we do. And then of course they have time to, hang out whenever all of that's done in the kid cave for a few minutes until mom and dad pick them up.
Gotcha.
So it's a very fast paced environment. There's not a lot of downtime. It sounds like when I said, well, they go wait there, it's quick.
Gotcha.
It's quick. It's quick moving.
Gotcha. Hey, Shane, you got any questions over there?
I don't that I can think of. I had one on my mind a few minutes ago. It had to do with been watching some of your social media reels and things like that, Eric, and I'd seen where you were talking a lot about self-defense for maybe ladies or whoever, if they're, like an attacker, just, where we live.
Yeah.
The time we live in now, I mean, somebody could approach you or attack you at a parking lot. And I'd seen some of your videos addressing things like that. Can you talk a little bit more about that? And
Sure. Well, all right. So I'm 5'5". So I'm not a big guy. So I learned how to do all this stuff because I didn't want to get beat up by a big dude, right? And everybody's bigger than me. So when I talk to ladies about self-defense, typically speaking, you're going to be the weaker version or weaker person in that altercation. That's why they've selected you. Okay. Because you're an easy target in their mindset. So if you're not an imposing figure, a lion doesn't attack the strongest in the herd, right? They go after the weakest.
Yeah.
And so that's the same thing in a self-defense situation. You're going to get singled out. And if you look weak, or if your attention is on this thing and you're not paying attention to your surroundings, you look like an easy target. So if your head's on a swivel, you're paying attention to your surroundings, you're less likely just by that alone to get attacked, just by paying attention to what's going on. And then you add the fact, if you want to learn how to do self-defense, most women, unfortunately, think they can come in and learn how to punch and kick, and they're going to knock out an opponent. unless you've trained for decades to hit like Mike Tyson, you're probably not going to knock somebody out real quick. You're going to hurt yourself more than you're going to defend yourself. And so that's why I love jiu-jitsu and Krav Maga concepts, because they teach you natural weapons like your knees and your elbows, your headbutts, things that are you don't have to train them long term to figure out how to use them. And then jiu-jitsu teaches you how to escape someone trying to grab or hold you, how to get away. It's not about winning. A trophy or a medal doesn't make you know how to do self-defense. So jiu-jitsu and Krav Maga and martial arts that are rooted in self-defense as a real-world tactic teach you how to create space and get away. That's the secret. It's not about beating them up. Everybody's like, I wish somebody would grab me. I don't want nobody to grab me.
Yeah, when I was younger, not too young, maybe my teenage years, I would watch a lot of Lifetime movies, and the female characters, she would get into an altercation with the male character, and I would just think, why don't you just kick them in the privates? So does that strategy work?
Absolutely does, but not. Here's the thing, okay? It works, but when someone is under influence of some kind, like alcohol or some sort of drug, their pain tolerance goes up. They don't feel it right then as quickly as you think it would. If you hit me in a coherent state of mind, me doing something, first of all, why am I attacking you? But aside of that, if I am, it's going to bother me because my senses are normal. You know, they're under normal circumstances. When you're at any, mental health disorder, you add that into it, because why are they attacking if they're not crazy, right? Or they're under the influence of something. Their pain suppressors are there and they don't feel as pain like we would normally feel. So yes, it works. You may not get the reaction that you expected. And for lack of a better word, you might tick them off enough where they hurt you worse. So that's why jiu-jitsu teaches us to get away first, create that space. Plus, you can't fight in a telephone booth. You can't do a real cool kick. You know, anybody know what a telephone booth is anymore?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you can't do all these flashy cool kicks and stuff like that real close quarters. It doesn't work as well. So with that being said, jiu-jitsu teaches us to create that distance and space so that we don't, one, we can get away, or B, if he does pursue, I have a chance for one of those to work. You know, it allows me to get to that level. So there's no simple answer. You know what I mean? So, but yes, it does work in the perfect storm.
Yeah.
You know, hit him in the throat works in a perfect storm. But are you cognitive enough to make that happen in a situation? Because most people, when they get attacked, they have this thing called a freeze factor. Okay. And the more you train, the less your freeze appears. It's still there, but it reduces down to zero or almost zero, non-existent. But the average person, when they get into a very violent or very aggressive situation right out of the gate, they freeze because their brain is looking for an answer and they don't know what to do. And they're thinking, have we done this before? And your brain's like running through the Rolodex of all these life events and going, I don't got nothing. Or that's why I said done's better than perfect before, because it applies to this situation as well. If attacked, I just do something. I don't care if it's wrong. I did something. You know, so the strike to the groin, absolutely, if that's the first thing that comes to mind, do it. But you may not think of it.
Yeah. And going
training
back to,
gets you to where you don't think.
Yeah. So where you said jiu-jitsu helps you to think about what you need to do immediately.
Yeah, but there's a terminology in Japanese language. It's called mushin. Mushin means no thought, without thinking. Muscle memory. Basically, to do something, I go through that door. I don't think all of the mechanics of opening a door. I just do it. And so if you have to think, and what am I going to do in this situation? Too late. You have milliseconds, not minutes, to figure out what to do.
Gotcha.
And so the muscle memory concept just pulls the trigger on it, and you just do it. That's what training is for. So,
gotcha.
More questions from you?
I do have more questions, but going back to Warrior Kids, about how long does it take one of your students to develop that discipline?
Each kid's different. Every kid's different. They have all different circumstances in life. You don't know what they've been through, but every single small victory that they get, like when they've realized they could break that board. That's a huge, big win for most little kids. They're like, I can't break the board. I can't break the board. They try. And then they don't break it. And then all of a sudden they do. That right there is the light switch. That's one of my favorite ones to see, because it's a physical proof that they could do it.
Yeah.
And no one got hurt.
Yeah.
No one got hurt in the process. They got to break that board, and they're like, their eyes get real big like plates. And they're like, I did that. And you're like, yes, you did. High five, kid. You did it. It's great.
Yeah.
And then we give them the souvenir board because they never forget it. That's one of their ways.
Yeah.
And, every game, every activity, the goal is to teach them through that. What did you get from this that was positive? I got out. I didn't get nothing positive. I got put out. Did you learn how not to get out this time? That's a positive. So we try to find it for them. It doesn't always work.
Yeah.
Every kid's different. Every kid has a level of processing that they got to work through, because you don't know what their parents tell them. You don't know what other kids in society tell them. So you don't know if they're getting downed every day and they have a struggle higher than other people. Yeah. Not everybody has a parent that goes, you're amazing and you're going to be an awesome person in this world. Not everybody hears that from their teachers. We try to make sure we do that to them.
That's good.
So.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think we're about close to wrapping up. However, before we do, say if we have a listener that's interested in contacting you, learn more about Warrior Academy, how can they get involved? Who do they contact? And do you happen to have any promotions going on?
We do. Well, first of all, you can always check out our website at warriorma.net. That's our main website. So you can, scroll through there, search all of our different programs and things that we offer. If you just go to that same website and put /free week trials on the back of it, you can get any one of our programs free for a week.
Wow.
So you can come in and check it out, visit. You can get our after school program. If we have a spot available in that school, you get a free week trial. We'll pick your kid up for a whole week on the house.
Wow.
And you get to check it out, see if it's worthy of your family and, something you guys want to invest in. And then we do the same thing with martial arts, with our hip hop program for adults and kids. We do it for everyone. So that's the easiest way. Or you can text us, free week, at our phone number, 270-697-3238.
Wow.
That's the easiest way to get hold of us. We're all over social media. I invade everybody's mindset as much as possible on there. And I invade with videos and stuff, tips and tricks that I like to post on my personal page and my business pages. So we're all over Facebook and TikTok and YouTube and the internetosphere.
Awesome. So all the viewers, you have no excuse. He's offering you a free trial a week to try him out and see what you think. And lastly, are you involved in any kind of events going on here soon? Or
I try to be involved as much as possible. I'm an active chamber member, so I try to do as much stuff with them as possible. I am going to be at Mar Park this weekend for the Harvest Fest.
Okay.
We have a booth there. We have sign up for free week trials. Come by and visit our booth. I'm also going to be doing some kind of interesting. I'm a big advocate of wellness martial arts as well. So health and wellness, which is what I teach. I've been doing this for about 30 years, is Tai Chi, which is more of a meditation and motion type breathing, balance, coordination type self-defense. It's not self-defense is in fighting. It's self-defense is health. So you learn to keep yourself healthy and under control like that. But I'm going to be doing a pop-up class at the Mar Park at our booth. So we'll have enough people come by. I'll show a few basic techniques. This is perfect for people that are, limited mobility. If you got weak knees, you're not going to be jumping and slamming and doing all the other stuff that I do. But maybe you're retired. Maybe you're, heading into the senior areas of life. I'm using that lightly because I'm on the cusp of that. So it's like older people, and I'm older than me even. So it's like, but if you're in that age range, you're going to actually enjoy this because it's not a martial arts of bouncing, jumping, slamming, or anything like that. You don't even need an opponent. It's just a practicing and learning how to move smoothly and controlled. It gets the blood circulation. It reduces stress. It does a lot of stuff. So I do it pretty much every single morning.
Awesome.
So I'm going to be doing that at Mar Park. And I got, plug this one real quick. October 11th
Okay.
in our parking lot on South Main here in Madisonville, we're doing a fall festival.
Really?
So we have a lot of vendors from local area businesses that have joined forces with us. It's a free event, no cost for anybody to come and check it out. We're going to have all different kinds of vendors all in our parking lot. We're going to have our dance team is going to perform. We're going to have booths for our martial arts. We're going to have booths for our after school and dance and all that stuff as well. Games and activities for kids. It's free. So we're
Wow.
going to have a good time. October 11th from 10 to 1.
Okay. And what were the dates on the other ones?
That's this coming weekend on the 27th, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be at Mar Park at Harvest Fest.
Awesome.
Yep.
Eric, it's been a great episode.
Thank you for being
Appreciate you
here.
having me.
Yeah.
I told you I talk a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching Creative Side Podcast. Please comment, share this with someone who may like to hear this content. Like us and definitely follow us. We appreciate your support, and we look forward to seeing you next time.